5-star reviews tell you that you have good choice and maybe a little bit of confirmation bias in terms of what you're looking for. Let's talk about some 1-star reviews of our favorite books and see if there's anything we could learn that we missed and probably should have been more critical of when reading these books. All right, so what are we starting with? Are we doing Slaughterhouse 5 since that was one that you get to experience for the first time here?
I don't know. I thought it was a fantastic book all around, even without the hand-holding that you guided me through the nuances of Slaughterhouse 5. It's still fantastic, and it's a 5 out of 5, but let's get into it.
See, the first one says, this novel has a pretty basic and consistent structure. That actually sounds like a pro so far.
Well,
a few paragraphs of humorous, I think, writing that has the presumed purpose of loosening you up before you get to the sucker punch paragraph that contains something disturbing, death-related, followed by so it goes. Dude, this sounds like a 5-star review so far. I'm like, yeah, let's do this. This sounds awesome.
Wait a minute. So it's pretty basic and consistent structure. Maybe like the first, 2 paragraphs, but this book is anything but a basic structure. It is the farthest thing ever from a basic structure, the way that it weaves in and out of time. I don't understand.
He doesn't make, okay. Well, he doesn't think in 4D the way you do, sir.
Oh, yeah. I'm playing chess and he's playing tiddlywinks.
All right. And if the so it goes wasn't there to remind you that this is the part where death happens, Vonnegut hammers the point home by relaying it in an inhumanly cool, dry, and nonchalant manner. I mean, that's pretty in line with PTSD, right? Like you become kind of immune to it in some regards.
Yeah, I don't know what he's wanting out of this story. I feel like his expectations were not in line. I don't know. I would like to talk to the guy and be like, hey, what were your expectations? What did you even think this book was about? Do you know Vonnegut's history? And then a little bit further into his review, he kind of talks about that he didn't necessarily know Vonnegut's view, and then he just gets like mad at it, or mad at Vonnegut, I guess, that he survived through these, tragedies of war. It's like, well, you write what you know about, man, or what you survived or lived. Like, give the guy a break.
How coy and provocative. Maybe Vonnegut could have helped the reader along a little more with a footnote. See what I did there? By having my narrator relate stories of war and death in an apathetic manner, I made you really think about these issues, didn't I? Huh? Yes, we get it, Kurt. I feel like, we're in full verbal mode here, I feel like. All right, partway through reading this book, I was sharing my disappointment with a friend who mentioned that Vonnegut, like the narrator, had actually witnessed the Dresden bombings.
Yeah, there it is.
I mean, he was in it. He didn't just witness it. He wasn't like a bystander. He was in the bombings. This left me momentarily chastened as I considered the sobering impetus of the story. Like we didn't
Did this
think
guy
about
just
that
get a
before.
thesaurus, you think? You think he got a thesaurus for Christmas this year?
I think so. Then I mentally slapped myself for even considering that sympathy could cover for the stylistic bludgeoning that Vonnegut inflicted. I suppose there was a well-thought-out reason for making the prose stuttering and choppy, but I can't imagine what that would actually be, nor would I care to.
That's your problem right there. You don't care. You're not invested in it. And if you knew about what veterans suffer, and as Una pointed out, how detrimental PTSD can be to someone's life, that it's supposed to be choppy, because that's what his life was like. That's how he experienced life from that point on, because of this devastating event to his psyche. Like, and you clearly don't care, and that's obvious. So, I mean, yeah. It's hard to argue with somebody. It's even hard to have a conversation with someone like that when they don't seem to be invested. And that's fair. You don't have to be. It annoys me.
Yeah. This next part, I think it's an attempt at a clever trick where there's a post that says Trout's prose is at least as good as Vonnegut's. I think Vonnegut's kind of Trout in the story, if you didn't notice. And it's like when some people attempt to have a touche, but then they realize that they picked up on the intent.
Oh, I got it. Oh, dang it. I'm so sad now. I'm so sad.
Were the philosophical musings on time and fate revealed primarily through unimaginative and silly sci-fi ramblings? Hell yeah. Like, that's the whole point, is that they're silly and fun and sci-fi. Supposed to be a novel or even vaguely interesting. It's like he took Tolstoy's ruminations on fate and free will in War and Peace and then removed all the complexities and internal dissonance.
Did this guy even read the same book? Because I feel like there's a lot of complexity to all of these characters, and especially when they're being viewed by the aliens, there's so much, and that's why the aliens are viewing them, is because we're such complex creatures. I don't know.
I think that's a great comparison. I don't know. Don't you think, like, when we look at War and Peace and he's like, is it really the kings that move the pawns, or is it the pawns are moving the kings, right? This deterministic system where it didn't really matter what you order, like other things are going to happen no matter what. Life is a very complex, chaotic system. And I actually think that's a really good comparison to compare War and Peace to Slaughterhouse-Five, which I love both of those books.
Yeah, but he did it in such a negative way. He didn't have to be a jerk about it.
You just want to be mad at him.
I do.
In the second half of the story, which is actually probably the first, third, 86th, and 97th paragraph, I did find myself mildly interested in what was happening. Perhaps I became accustomed to the writing, or the pain just being dulled after a while. Regardless, this book crossed the overrated line so egregiously that I can't muster a second star. Heavy-handed, prosaic, unfunny. So it goes. Oh, he did that thing where he ended it with so it goes, but it was not after any death. Sorry. No points for you, sir.
It's funny because, like, as you look through all of these 1-star reviews, all of them put something about so it goes in, like, their ending little paragraph, and they think they're so clever of, like, obviously this book got to you. And I think that's why you and I do this channel. That's why you and I are so passionate about discussing books and stories and poems and literature in general, is you should have a conversation about it. It's okay to not like it, but I think that you have to justify why you don't like something. I'm not saying that, but have a conversation about it, not just posting some nasty 1-star review because you think you're hip. You know, like, that's the cool thing to do nowadays, is post a 1-star negative review. Like, come on.
All right, let's read the next review. Ugh, I ended up hating this. It's dead to me now. So it goes.
There it is again.
Well, at least
it's like he's so good, they can't even come up with their own clever quips. They have to steal Vonnegut's. That's how good he is.
Yeah, but at least she had the "it's dead to me now." Like, she got the purpose of it. At least that one.
I don't know how a book can be dead to somebody, but
you're just mad. You're just mad. All right, next one. Is this book really a classic? Do so many people really love it? Yes. Or are they just scared of saying they hate it? No. I really do love it. Some nice writing and sentiments and memorable quotes held together by rubbish. So it goes.
See? These people, man. Again, and maybe I would have been one of them. I'm not saying that I am better than them. Maybe I would have been right there with them without you guiding me through this. I don't think so, but maybe.
All right. Well, okay. So let's put it this way. We know Vonnegut is meant to have a irreverent, nonchalant way of approaching a very serious subject. That's part of why we like him, is that juxtaposition. What if we take a serious subject? Is that okay? Like if we talk about the Brothers Karamazov, let's skip to the 1-star reviews for this one. Let's see what this one has.
This book temporarily killed my love of reading and sent me spiraling into a reading slump that lasted 2 months. I finished parts 1 and 2, then I put it on hold until I could muster up the courage to pick it up again about 4 months later. Then I wanted to finish it by the end of 2018 and failed.
Oh, wait, did they not finish it? Oh, wait, there's a whole bunch more here.
Oh, there is. These characters are such high school drama.
No, they are, though. Like, do you really want to read a story about someone that's got to be like, oh, I got to go to the bathroom. Can we leave in 5 minutes? Or do you want to read someone that like tries to go to the bathroom? There's someone hiding behind the curtains and then they freak out. Like, you want that over dramatized story a lot of times, but you want relatable and real issues, I think.
Well, come on. The review says they're storming with jealousy. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of good movies and stories about jealousy. Bitter, angry, infatuated, obsessed, crying, fainting, lying, murdering, stealing, begging, drinking, scoffing. I see anything bad here. Like,
yeah.
Does this person read any other books besides children's novels? Do they watch any shows whatsoever with any characters or drama?
That's literally an amazing description. Like, you've got jealousy, bitter, angry, infatuated, obsessed, crying. Like, there's a lot of stuff in this book. Oh, and don't forget the whole purpose of life and whether you can have, absolute morality. That was kind of a cool part too.
Yeah, I mean, they're rambling this off like it's the Princess Bride, sword fighting, true love. Like, this sounds like all the things you want in a story. Like, every single good thing and bad thing of human interaction is crammed into one book. Yeah, maybe that's why it's considered one of the greatest novels of all time.
All right, let's read this one. Talk about anticlimactic. Whoa. Okay, are we taking bets now? Did they finish the book? Like,
well, the second sentence says this book has one of the lamest endings I've ever come across.
Okay, they did finish.
They're like an old crypto. They're peaks and valleys, reader, and the whole book stems on the ending and not the journey. I get that because I was there at one time. We could change this person. We could have a good discussion with this person, I feel like.
I like this person for who they are. Let's see who they are. For the first several hundred pages, FD goes overboard on the character development. How dare he introduce you and get you to know your characters. He continues to develop the characters for far too long. Then, once he runs out of possible ways to develop them any further, he finally says, "The hell with this, I'm writing a murder mystery." So he has someone killed. Correction, he tells you on the first line of the book, he's going to have someone killed. I don't know if you noticed.
Maybe he skipped that line.
Yeah, it's literally the first line of the book. Anyways, then we have several hundred pages of whodunit. Then finally he says, this book is long enough, and just ends the damn thing. I mean, yeah, that is what authors do. They're like, all right, I've reached the end. Let's end this. Of course, spread out throughout it, there's also a great deal of uninteresting philosophical musings. Okay. And
uninteresting.
Uninteresting, wow. Yes, okay.
Wow.
And more than anyone other than a member of the Russian Orthodox Church needs to know about the organization. Well, I don't think it's necessarily about the Russian Orthodox Church per se, so much as the eternal damnation of one's souls and one's moral obligation and duty in life. That seems like an important interpretation. It's been over a decade since I read this book. Holy crap, he's writing this a decade later? How long has he been harboring this hate?
I'm still angry at my 4th grade girlfriend when she broke up with me.
Yeah, dude, like imagine one of your girlfriends calls you right now from like high school. Like just like, "Hey man, I don't appreciate the way you talked to me at Red Lobster that night." And you're just like, "What?"
After prom.
It's been over a decade since I read this book, and perhaps I would like it more now, but I'm not going to try. I'm just going to write a review for it right now, 10 years later. But seeing how great various friends told me it was, I was extremely let down by it. Well, that's unfortunate. Wait. Look, here's someone who likes Vonnegut. Hang on. I absolutely loved everything about Crime and Punishment, so I was excited to read this one. Okay. I'm a huge fan of Vonnegut, who recommends this book. Okay, we're starting out strong. But halfway through, I had to give up. Oh, they didn't even finish the book, and you're reviewing it. You can't review a book if you haven't finished it, in my opinion. You can just say, I didn't like it enough to keep going, and you can't review it. Yeah, that is not a review. I guess they're telling us their struggles. I guess maybe they think it's a review, but they're just relating their struggles. After struggling...
I do want to clarify that you don't have to base your review on the end of the book, because Una said that you should finish a book to give a true representation or review of your feelings. Because again, while the ending is important, it's not the end-all, be-all. It is the journey, but without the entire journey, it's kind of unfair to give a review, especially if you're going to throw one of the greatest novels of all time, a 1-star review.
I think they need a DNF category instead of like the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You need to be, there needs to be a DNF category, right? Like,
I think that's totally fair.
And maybe some other rating as to why you DNF. Like maybe within DNF there's boring, or I don't know, some other way to rate it. But like, I don't think we should, I don't know, mix a person who has not read a book and can't properly review it with someone who has read a book and is like, yeah, by the end, I still really didn't enjoy it. Here's the reasons why.
I completely agree with you.
The characters are full 3D characters, but they aren't doing anything. That's literally all of literative fiction, basically right there. The murder of the blurb still hasn't happened yet, and nothing is actually happening in the plotline at all. Most literary fiction, again. There are some tedious meanderings into Russian religious orthodoxy. I mean, it's not just Russian orthodoxy, though. But maybe it's the atheism in me. I just don't care about all that. I want something to draw me into turning the pages. I don't want it to be hard work. Okay. I've been patient, but you have to draw the line somewhere. I wonder at what point they quit. You know what I mean? Like, because I feel like someone quitting before we reach the
Chapter 7.
What's it called? What's his name?
Oh, the Grand Inquisitor.
Yes. If someone quits before the Grand Inquisitor, I like if someone says, I quit before the Grand Inquisitor, hard stop, end reading. Don't need to waste my time with you anymore. If they went through Grand Inquisitor and still found the meanderings uninteresting, I might continue reading that story, right? Like, I want to know more about your review. I want to know if you DNF, at what point do you DNF to? That should be required information.
That's fair. They say many, many chapters. Many, many is different to many, many people.
Characters just wander around not doing anything. You already said that, and that is true of all literary fiction. Thinking about things, again, all literary fiction. Brothers, I find Dimitri most interesting. Okay, now that's interesting, right? Because Dimitri was the emotional one, right? They're the ones that quickly react to information. They don't digest it the way Ivan does. They don't think through its philosophical end the way that Alyosha does. They just immediately react, and it's interesting. That's the character this person relates to.
But they did relate to somebody. So again, it's interesting that they were able to connect to one person at least, which I think is a good goal to have. You don't have to like every character, and then just didn't finish it. Didn't want to see where the story played out. It feels like a lot of times some of these reviews, people are looking for a Marvel movie when they don't realize they're reading literary fiction from hundreds of years ago. I feel like the expectations a lot of time is what is the determining factor of why they're giving a 1-star review. Now that's an awesome review, the one that you're scrolling through right now. It says, fuck Dostoevsky.
No, hey, I don't know if I've ever read such a good review in my life. And notice it's got 13 likes. This is actually a very solid review. I really do enjoy this one.
What do the comments say?
Well, someone said, I wish we had a dislike button. I disagree. I need this upvoted more. How can one be so wrong? See, you're both wrong. Love that. Nobody finds the humor in it the way that we do, my friend.
Everybody's entitled to their opinion. I love that these people are passionate enough. I love it. I disagree with them, and that's fine, because there are probably some books that I thought were hot garbage that they absolutely loved, like Ahsoka.
Okay, well, speaking of Ahsoka, let's go to some more, if you will. We call it brain candy, but I think that almost has like maybe a negative hint to it, but it's our non-literary fiction side of things. Gunslinger, one of the most divisive books there is, series there are. Let's see what's going on here, shall we?
Yeah.
Actually, this is another YouTuber right here.
Oh, I mean, the Gunslinger, we have a special place in our heart because that's how Una and I basically started all this, is because of Gunslinger. So it's very important to us and our friendship and our relationship and the channel as a whole. It all began on a Saturday talking about the Gunslinger for hours.
All right. So let's check this out. We've got, I really, really, really did not enjoy this. Reading this book was like having a one-sided conversation. I mean, isn't all books a one-sided conversation?
If your books are talking to you, bro, you are in serious need of some psychotherapy.
Isn't that no? I mean, isn't that all books? It's a one-sided conversation of the author transmitting his ideas and thoughts into you, and you just have to react, but you can't influence it. It's literally a one-sided conversation.
I know, but I'm saying is if they are reading a book that it's not, then they're in trouble if the book's talking back to them or they're talking back to the book. I don't know. I guess we do
Voices
that.
in my head. All right. They waffle on, they go on tangents, and you really want to get up and get a drink, make dinner, do some laundry. Well, okay, you had me at drink, you had me at dinner. Where did this desire to do laundry come from?
Hey, I like doing laundry. It's very, very cathartic for me.
Do you have like random desires to like just get up and start doing laundry sometimes?
Absolutely not. It's only a Sunday afternoon thing while I read comics or read books.
What if that was one of those things that just like when this person gets frustrated, they just immediately get up and start like doing laundry? Like that's amazing. That'd be like the ideal roommate in college.
Mechanism.
Like imagine you're in college, you need your clothes done, and you just start annoying this person with hopes that they start doing your laundry.
Best roommate ever.
Anything except continue to listen to the madness-inducing dribble that they keep spouting. But for the sake of manners and propriety, you have to endure the endless tirade, even though you'd rather stab yourself in the face than have to listen to one more sentence. Well, that's interesting. Is either stab myself in the face or do laundry. I couldn't decide.
Well, you have to do laundry after stabbing yourself in the face because your shirt
if you stab
would be bloody.
yourself in the face, you must do laundry.
Or buy a new shirt.
The prose was trying too hard. I mean, she's not wrong. The first book was super freaking purple. Like super purple.
I think it's just Roland trying to find his son, Jake. That prose is not too much.
Oh, look, she even says that it's
father-son journey.
She says it's purple in the next line. I stole the words out of her mouth. But this one was one of the darkest shades of purple. Okay, I think I'm feeling Laundry Lady here. I think I'm on the same page with her. Like, I agree. This was super purple compared to his other writings.
Okay.
That's it? You're just going to give me the okay? Like, I feel like that was a passive-aggressive, like now I'm not a one-star gunslinger guy. I'm just saying it's purple.
Well, define purple for me in the context of gunslinger.
Well, I remember I was sitting in this discussion, and again, it's subjective on various levels, right? But his point he's actually talking about product design, so this is going to be a bit of a leap. But one of the people asked him, what is the way that you, like this is an audience member asking this designer, that you have the right design? Like, how do you know when you're done? Because a lot of times when you're like a designer or a writer, you sit there and fiddle with words and paragraphs for a very long time. Right?
Right.
How do you know when you're done? How do you know when you just need to move on? This is where it is. This is how I'm going to publish it. And his answer was, well, it's when you can't take anything else away, right? The perfect design is everything serves a purpose and nothing can be taken away. Typically, we describe a book as purple when it has a lot of, yes, great adjectives. Yes, great flexing of one's lexicon, and sometimes that is needed to have the right articulate and masterful word to convey your purpose in that exact moment. I think when you look at the Gunslinger as a whole, if we look at it sentence by sentence, I'm going to guess there's going to be some concessions where you're going to be like, okay, he didn't have to use that word there. It wasn't the perfect word choice. You could use this. I'm going to guess there's parts where you might concede and say, okay, we could have simplified this. And I guess maybe one of the counter arguments is like, well, then it wouldn't be this great book. It's like, well, if he changed one word, is that what changed it? What if we changed the second word? Is that what made it not masterful? At some point, it's the grain of rice problem where you don't know how many things you can change before it's no longer the Theseus ship, the thing that it was. So purple is generally where like you realize there is a large amount of areas where you could have simplified it and it probably would have not have impacted the story. It's, again, obviously art, not science, but I think that's what people are describing when they say purple prose.
All right. That makes sense. My thought to that description and explanation is if you have no intention of reading anything beyond the Gunslinger, maybe that is a valid argument. However, this is a piece to a greater story that is serving a larger world, adventure, and narrative. And I think that it needs to be purple for the rest of the story.
Did you read the last line here? I'm so sorry our first buddy read adventure wasn't a more pleasant experience, Anthony. Still keen to see the movie, though. Should we tell him? Should we tell him?
This did not age well. I would like to reach out to this person, and if they liked the movie, then I have lost all respect for you.
I would like to see the review of the movie.
Hot garbage.
I want to see the review of the movie.
Yeah, what did they think of the movie? Wow. But no, I don't even want to know, because they watched that trailer and thought it looked good, even after reading the book. If they had never read the book and saw the trailer, I'd give them a pass, because they didn't know any better. But this person, they deserve a throat punch.
I think you need to throw more adjectives in there. You give her the purple throat punch.
Adam's apple throat punch.
Okay, so I always thought Stephen King was wonderful. However, I can't see it in this book. Like, a weird guy on drugs wrote it.
Yes.
Should we tell them?
I never understand why people don't research their authors. Like, why is that not important to some readers? I feel like you're missing out on so much if you don't understand your author. I don't know. It's so strange to me. I've always wanted to know about my authors. When I was a child reading Shel Silverstein or Dahl, or I was reading Robert Jordan, like, I wanted to know about these people, of where they came from, what was their religion, what was their upbringing. Like, I think that's important to know about the author and where they're coming from, because you write what you know. That boggles my mind. Wow.
Well, I mean, is it fair too that you generally would only research things you've enjoyed a lot? Like,
that's
yes,
true. Fair.
Sometimes you hate review or research. I get it, but more often than not, you would only research it if you truly enjoyed it.
That is fair.
But they did say But they did say Stephen King was wonderful, so there goes that argument.
Yeah, and I have sometimes not enjoyed something and went and researched the author of, like, why did they write it this way? Why is it this way? I want to know more, because I'm inquisitive like that. So I think there's always a conversation to be had. And again, we're having a good conversation and roasting these 1-star peoples.
All right, let's do this last one. I may just be too dense for this book. Unlikely.
Agreed.
I
You can delete me.
Okay, I'm going to agree with her. I think this book was dense. This was a lot. After reading every page, does she not normally read every page?
I only read odd pages.
Do we skip every like prime page? Like,
oh, prime pages. It's like that book that has no E's because the guy didn't have the E on his typewriter or whatever. I'm
gonna start a book club called the Fibonacci Page Book Club, where we only read the pages that fit the Fibonacci sequence.
Hey, we've done that where we've only read certain pages of a book. So, good for you.
All right. After reading every page, and many of them more than once, to be fair. Come on, to be fair, we have to do that with some of our books too. I have no idea what this book is about. I'm reading Ulysses, and I can relate 100%. That is my experience with Ulysses right now. I kept going thinking I would surely eventually come to understand. Again, my Ulysses experience, but that was a very bad and false basis. Oh, crap, I hope that doesn't happen to me. Should have DNF'd it after the first 10 pages. Oh, I wonder what happened in the first 10 pages to have come to that conclusion.
The complexity of Ulysses versus the gunslinger, that's like kindergarten and college. Come on.
They both have poop and toot jokes. They both have booger jokes. I mean, that's fair, right?
I feel like sometimes I think maybe a lot of it is mindset that you're reading this book in. It has to be, right? I mean, there is a great adventure in this story. A gunslinger out of myth, going on an adventure, saving a young boy, the firefight in town, chasing the man in black across the desert, magic, time travel. It has so much. And maybe it's too much, and that's why they didn't like it. They say it's too dense. That boggles my mind. It's a great adventure. Terrible movie though.
Isn't it fair though that if let's say you're a big Stephen King fan, and if we think about the average reader, let's say they've read 3-4 Stephen King books, right? Depending on the era, you get a general feeling for his style, his cadence. Like that's one thing that we talked about, the rhythm in which Stephen King writes. This one doesn't fit that pattern, right? Like if you were expecting a traditional, usual Stephen King book with those twists, with those weird, icky, gross feelings, okay, it's still got those, but by and hold, a lot of the other DNA elements, no pun intended, for Stephen King are kind of missing in this book. So I can fully understand that you're expecting one thing and then feel like you got button hooked into something else.
That's fair. I know that sometimes I have read a book or played a video game or watched a movie. Flanagan doing his series, I know sometimes I was like, wow, I wasn't expecting this from, because you get into an expectation of what an author, a publisher, a director, a writer will give you, and then when they don't deliver, you're bummed. But then I have to argue, there is a point where you get to a saturation of it's the same thing over and over, and then when they give you something different, you're mad either way. Oh, he didn't give me the same thing as always, but he gave me the same thing as always. I'm mad too. No, you can't win them all. Can't make everybody happy.
That's fair. All right. So that was us just kind of reacting to 1-star reviews, perhaps being a little bit petty.
Oh, for sure.
But that's okay.
Yeah. I'll totally admit that.
We're allowed to do that.
Yeah, I'm totally a jerk and being petty, but these are things that I love and passionate about, and that they hate and passionate about. And as long as we can be civil at the end of the day and realize that they're wrong and we're right, we're fine with that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that people aren't like allowed to have their own opinion, right? It's just when your opinion's different than mine, it kind of bums me out. What?
It doesn't me. I don't want to be their friend. I got you. That's all I need.
All right, guys. Thanks for spending time with us today. Let us know what other 1-star reviews we get a kick out of. My name is Benuna. Thank you for spending time with us today. Peace.
No peace. 5 stars.
Just war.
Just war.